Hey, everybody. Yeah. Just waiting for them to come back from lunch. I'm just gonna talk for a few minutes. I'm not sure if you follow me or not, but I'm trying to buy a house and I saw one that I really like that is still being built, is under construction, and hesitated. And then later on that night, I decided that that's the one I wanted, but now someone else has already put a contract on it. So I'm a little sad about that. Not in a great mood because after I thought about it for a while, I was like, yeah, I really want this house. And then, I mean, literally, it was only hours later, and I called the realtor to tell her that I wanted it. And lo and behold, someone's already put a bid on it. Or not a bid on it, but put a contract on it. So it must have been right after I left. But anyway, they don't sign the contract until Saturday, I believe it was. So hopefully, maybe she changes her mind before then or by then. But we'll see. I've just been thinking about that house so much the last couple of days. But if it was meant for me, it'll be there. Um, if not, the house that I'm looking for, it's out there somewhere. I just haven't found it yet. But I know there's something else out there for me if that's what is in God's plan. But when I tell you, it is hard trying to find a house out here. It really is. Even though they have so many new construction houses going and neighborhoods going up, I mean, they are disappearing like crazy. It's like everybody is buying a house, which is awesome, but it's hard to find one. And if you find one, you have to make like that split decision right then and there to get it. Because if you don't, it's going to be gone. That's the only bad thing about this. It's like I like to take my time. I don't like to feel rushed. But with this market the way it is, it's like you got to be quick on your toes or it's going to be gone. Blink your eye and it's gone. And a lot of houses out here, a lot of places are building new houses, but I guess there's so many that are being built that the county isn't coming out fast enough to each of them to do whatever, survey it or do whatever they have to do so they can get the lots approved to start selling. So that's another hold up with things. It's like I found a neighborhood that I like where they have lots, but they're waiting on the city or the county to come and do whatever they're supposed to do before they can actually sell the lots or even offer the lots. So that's another hold up. So I'm just praying, that things start moving along soon. Because it's August now. My birthday is next month. I'm going to Jamaica for my birthday. And once I get back, be back on the grind of looking for a place unless I find one before I leave, which I doubt. But either way, I would hope I'm hoping I can be in my house by Christmas. But if I get a new construction, it's probably going to be after Christmas, most likely at the beginning of the year before I can move in. But hopefully, I find something that's already halfway done at least, and then I can just, you know, let it finish being built, and I'll be able to move in around Christmas time. But we'll wait and see. Let's see if they started for it back up yet. Nope, not yet. So my realtor, she's really nice. I found her on Instagram, I think it was. Oh, she was just so cute the way she made her little Instagram page and videos. So I like her. She's really nice. Like we could be friends even after I buy a house. But she's helped me out a lot. Anytime I text her or call her with a house that I'm thinking about, she looks into it and gives me her opinion, and we go from there. But she's such an encouraging person. I really like her. Uh, and she's such a people person, which is great because I'm really not. And yeah, she has a lot of realtor friends, so she's been talking with them, and we're trying to get things moving along. Yep. My daughter, she lives in a fairly new subdivision, and they had a house out there. And I was trying to be slick, and I sent her the posting, but I didn't tell her where it was or anything. I just sent her the house and the description and stuff. And she was just like, "Oh no, that's in my neighborhood." She knew exactly. I don't know how she figured that out, but she did. She was like, "Oh no." It would be funny for me to move in her subdivision. Crazy. It would be strange. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to moving into my new place. I've been at this my current location for 20 years, 22 years, 21 years. Moved in there in 2003. So I've been there a long time. And my daughter, when she was younger, she was trying to get me to move or to get a bigger house or whatever. But I was comfortable, and I
And
still am comfortable, but I
I
know I'm outgrowing
mentioned
my
I listened
house
to the
to get something else. The court
jail
is
call
back in
itself
session, so we're going to go back
before that. And I'm
to
just
it.
going to add, in addition to everything that is set forth in the order on this from November 16th of 2023, not stated in the order, but I think relevant to the order, and it may just be because everybody already had it in their mind that it was true, but I just think it's important to note that the three speakers, Ms. Stanley, Ms.
Hey.
Your Honor,
Mm-hmm,
if I may,
sure.
what with the call that we just discussed, number 360 in the FaceTime
Yeah.
call, what was the court's ruling?
That is in as a co-conspirator statement.
So specifically for that one has made in like the discussion we just had about.
Yeah, the only one that I have so far, there are two I haven't let in and one I let in under an exception that wasn't co-conspirator.
Yes, Your Honor.
So for the rest of them, they've all been under the co-conspirator exception.
And Your Honor, for your notes, I believe that was PDF page 152 was.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Your Honor. The next call we're going to be turning to, Your Honor, is going to be 423. And just to give the court a little bit of backstory, in addition to what Deputy Hilton discussed this morning, is this call is on March 16th, 2022 at 12:22 a.m. This is when at 2830 Waters Road, APD police officers arrived approximately around 12:08 a.m. after a lot of gunshots, which resulted in 11 defects in the front of that home, which ultimately inside of that home was Defendant Stillwell, Demekion Garlington, whose wiretap we have, Miles Farley, who is not in the current trial, but is charged with the murder of Shamel Drinks, as well as other YSL associates. And the significance is the shell casings from the murder of Mr. Ford and Mr. McMiller were connected with the Waters Road. And so this retaliatory back and forth, that backstory is significant with these calls we're about to play.
Okay.
So Your Honor, with that said, I'm going to play PDF page 423. And for this one, we're going to play the entire call.
Okay.
Like no look back. Hey, how the hell you at? Where the hell you at? Hey, ain't like no little back cut. Oh no, where they at? I think they in the front. And they gotta goddamn get through their back. They can't come in the house. Yeah, that was my house. Shut up, open the door.
And so, Your Honor, them whispering, this is Mr. Boyer, who Garlington is speaking with, his phone number. So officers, when they arrive, they ring the doorbell camera. There's a brief exchange from someone inside, and then they don't respond anymore. And ultimately, Demekion Garlington was in a crawl space. It was raining that night. And so the significance of this is they're speaking amongst each other because they don't initially know, who's at the door. Police respond because of all the shots that were into the home. And so it shows their coordination. And although the phone number itself for 423 is Mr. Boyer's, one of my co-counsels had stated, we believe it's Defendant Stillwell on the call. Okay. But the significance of them speaking while, it's 20 minutes after APD arrives to the house, and it takes some time for them to fully come out of the home. So it's in furtherance of the conspiracy because they're coordinating with one another about where are you? And he says, I'm in the woods. And then I believe Mr. Garlington is underneath the house when he's making this call in the crawl space.
So the context of this call is it's directly after, to my understanding, individuals shot at 2830 Waters Road. That would not be a crime committed by our clients. I don't know what could. I think the context of the call makes it clear that they're trying to avoid interactions with the police. I mean, I'm not going to argue that that's not the context, but I don't know if that's part of a criminal conspiracy. I mean, they were just victimized and they're trying not to talk to the police about it. I don't know if communications on a phone about that would be in furtherance of a conspiracy because there's no underlying criminal act as far as I know of that is being furthered.
Your Honor, the conspiracy itself, coordinating with one another in the wake of an act that has been committed in the wake of criminal activity at that house. We believe that the other calls will show that there are guns in the attic that they want to keep concealed from the police. They want to keep themselves secreted and separate from that location. It's one of their trap houses, and them coordinating with one another to evade detection by the police does further the interests of the gang by keeping themselves from being detected and found out and connected to that house by the police. So calling to find out where each other is, because the police did descend upon this house where hundreds of shell casings were found in the yard. And it was one of those central locations that was involved in the wake of the shooting of Mr. Ford, Mr. McMiller, and Mr. Drinks. We believe that this communication does further the conspiracy of the YSL enterprise and the criminal street gang and its enduring, detection from the police for their criminal activities by apprising each other of where they are in relation to the hot spot or the hot zone.
Okay, and let me ask you so that I am sure what my understanding of it is. Mr. Atkins, you had said shell casings from this scene are connected to the Drinks murder. So this wasn't just like a shoot up. This was a shoot back and forth.
So, Your Honor, the shell casings from Waters Road connected with the murder on March 11th of Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford, who were.
Okay, I misunderstood you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's the state's belief that the rival gang was responsible for both.
No,
the
I
death-
understand. I
Right.
just
Yes, Your Honor.
had written down the wrong set of murders.
And Your Honor, I left out one, I think, relevant fact. The police actually did come in contact with these individuals eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and they released them without charging them with anything.
Is that before, I mean, did they search the house at that
Yes.
point?
Yeah, well, they see a gentleman in the house laying down, and then they trying to speak accurately about how this happened. They went into the house. That's right. They went in the house upon seeing someone on the ground and detained all the individuals and then let them go without filing any charges.
They didn't search the house that day. They went in and detained, and Mr. Stillwell was later found to have been wearing at the house the same clothes.
Okay.
But no, they didn't search the house at that time. They didn't have a search warrant for it.
I'd never said anything about them searching the house or not searching the
But
house.
that's what I asked.
They went in the house and detained people and then released them without charging them because
And
it was
without searching the house.
and without searching the house. They later searched the house.
Okay.
2 days.
And I don't believe anyone is charged, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe anyone in this indictment is charged with anything that was found in the house.
They didn't find anything because they took it out before the police searched the house.
So
They can't hear what you're saying. Pull the mic. Oh, great. We've got a second mic. Good deal.
They found some stuff, but we believe that the things that they referenced in the calls
Okay.
were removed from the house. There was a number of things that were in the house that we know were in the house prior to them searching the house that were not in the house when they searched the house.
All right. Well, based on, and we're going to hear that soon enough.
Yes.
Based on what's about to come up, I'm going to admit that under the co-conspirator exception, since there's apparently some evidence that they were concerned about some criminal activity or contraband or something in the house.
Yes, and I think that the next call might shed
All
more
right.
light on it.
So, Your Honor, the next call we're turning to is 472. So the call we just played was at 12:22 a.m. This is at 4:33 a.m. again on March 16th.
Oh, you good, nigga? Hello? You good? Yeah. What is it? What the hell you mean, nigga? Oh, I ain't even say, I ain't saving no number. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Where the hell you at? You gone? Yeah. I'm only about to drop miles off. 10 miles, boy, it's all love, boy. I can't wait, boy. I gotta go home. Oh, yeah. He's been running in the store real quick. Yeah, so it was all love. I ain't waiting, boy. I gotta go, boy. That shit just shook the fuck out of me. Man, what? Man, when I seen it, when I seen it, man, what? Man, that whole just, man, boy, listen, boy, I just said to myself, boy, man, let me out that car. Boy, I'm gonna go in, boy, and I ain't coming back outside, boy. I don't care if I have no run or nothing, boy. Them motherfuckers ain't moving. Hey, boy, I said the same shit, boy. Somebody really think I'm like, yeah, man. What's so crazy, bro? I was just being cheap. I actually was being cheap. My whole kid saying, let's get a run like him, but I'm not gonna pay for no run. Man, listen, boy. I just said, damn, boy. They can send a nigga right street with their money like that. My nigga gonna spend this shit on them in the room, man. Man, what? I'm sorry. Hey, that's on DB. I'm in there like, boy. I got my last 2,000. I got to get lawyered in. I'm like, man. I'm in that beat like, man. Damn. But you won't believe, boy. All the sticks and the gun was in the gray car. For real? Man, God, boy, and the sticks and shit in the attic. Ooh, shit, boy, that was God, boy. Man, what?
Your Honor, I'll continue playing, but when they're saying that the sticks are up in the attic, it's the state's theory that they're talking about the Waters Road house.
You're talking about what?
When we were just discussing what's inside of the home or not inside the home, it's the states that line about their sticks up in the attic. Sticks is short term for AK-47s or longer handguns. Rifles, that they're talking about the guns in the attic of the Waters Road home that all these police swarmed after the gunshots. I'm going to continue playing. And also to orient the court, Your Honor, this phone number, which ends in 1103, the state attributes to Mr. Shard's client. So it's Garlington and him speaking.
That was God. Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah, get up out of there, boy. Baby. What, that way? Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean, though? Yeah, man, you know how far I gotta go. Oh, yeah. Poke goddamn, blowed up. She what? She blowed it up, boy. Hey, man, she blowed my shit up. You saying Shannon okay, man? Hold on, there was two. All right. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Hey, I don't know, man. You walk past me first thing, I'm like, well, I know for a fact. Yeah. Well, what? You know who she was coming to then? She say I already said the same shit though. She like, cause she like, who house is it? I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm telling you my first time here. She was like, yeah. So, yeah. Man, listen, bro. I'm thinking. Get what I kept saying. I said, boy, I know D and Mild, I'm smart. I know they saw them folks got her. It took her to the front. I said, I know they hit that back cut. You wouldn't believe. I'm trying to find out back cut. That's why I called you. Man, you talking about, well, I would have made one straight through the motherfucking bush back there. Boy, I'm telling you, I would have trucking back there. Well, guess what? We only got caught. This time I once they legs showing. He think somebody in the house dead, bro. But they tell me, like, so you telling me nobody in the house? I'm like, man, I ain't listen, man. I just pulled up. I said, I sat for 3 minutes. Top. The motherfucker go popping. So shit. I said the same shit. Oh God, why I sat outside 3 minutes, popping. Them motherfuckers went to popping, so shit. I went to goddamn ducking and running. They to my soul. Why you ain't? They to my so why you ain't got down? I thought it comes on some. They to my so why you ain't got down? Come out when we say Atlanta police. I'm like shit. I don't trust Atlanta police. I'm thinking these folks. I'm thinking these folks trying to get her to come out. So I stayed in. Yeah. Oh God. They're like yeah. I'm like look, bro. Y'all question me like I'm a suspect. I'm a victim. They're like yeah. You right. They're like, but let's do what we gotta do. We're gonna get back with you. If everything come out clean, then we'll let y'all go. Like, say less. I'm in the car sleep. I can't when they tell me that, I kick back. Don't goddamn go out. Yeah. Oh God. You don't think? They can't get the video from Nick on camera. Hell no. Yeah, okay. Man, you wouldn't believe, but I'm in them over like, boy, I know they can't come in here. We good, Brett. I'm telling Brett, like, we good, but they proud. Who told me I was in the woods? Who told me I was in the woods? I was up under the house, man. You don't see how dirty I am? Oh, we heard them get they like, hey, move. You like, hey, I dumb ass, I go out the back door. No, I go out the back door, right? So I'm finna go toward the car and hop in the car, just sit in the car the whole time. That's what they ate, so. And I go to the other side, finna try to hop the fence. They like, hey. I'm telling you what you gonna do. Go get that cut, boy. I know it. I everybody what a cut was. They said they didn't know. Man, listen, man. You probably made your cut. Yeah, like you ain't from the hood, boy. You know how this shit go. I would have went back there and made me a cut, but I would have been trucking through the motherfucker. That's why my goddamn shoes so dirty, my pants dirty, and my shoes dirty. Real. They say, so this is about Matt, man? I say, ma'am, I don't know. Man, listen, man, they asked me, do I know Matt, man? I said, I don't know no motherfucking Matt, man. Who are that? Yeah. I said, man, I'm not even from over here, bro. I'm from Tumbleville area, bro. Yeah. So what you doing over here? Man, I came to see a friend, man. I'm trying to talk about that game, man. Fuck you talking about? Damn, man. That whole blowing me up. That whole thing, nigga Sheen, all type of shit. That nigga was so cool though. He got damn called it back. I need to put a lock on my phone and take my have my messages pop out. This shit crazy, bro. I'm finna go in, boy. I'm finna gotta get out the driver's seat, let her drive, tell her drive slow as possible. I got down, my stupid ass went in the car, got my stick out the car and my FN out the car. Watch her right there. And got in the car, pulled out. They're really why I ain't want to wait on mine. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna text you now. Hey, man. Folks blowing up air. She called too. Sure. How she get? How she get no? I don't know. Cause you know, Kira got my Instagram on her phone. Oh. Everybody DM like, is you okay? So goddamn, y'all blowing up. So my Kira was already on the phone. I get Kira sent her number to Pope. Yeah, Pope. All them was on the phone. Damn, man. But I say, I'm like, yeah, bro. Bro, listen, bro. I kept saying to myself, I don't know what the fuck. I'm on drill time though, so I'm really like, but I ain't going nowhere. But I'm telling myself, pull out, baby, pull out. You ain't hear me say, boy, let go. Man, listen, you said let go, Miles said let go, Brett said let go, but I'm on drill time, so I'm just like, man, fuck that, boy. Yeah. I'm so mad. This time they served. He was just telling me like he was like, either somebody follow D or your girl or it's that whole Elmo. Cause they serve Elmo. I was like, man, Elmo, Elmo fuck with them folks. Yeah.
Ain't nobody following me. When nobody on the freeway when I got off of nothing. Don't nobody.
Man, listen, man. Don't nobody know my hoe. Come my hoe in a run, man. Fresh run, a new run. That motherfucker Jake got any run. And my hoe coming from goddamn all the way from goddamn out here. So come on, man. Stop playing.
Yeah, man. I know for a fact ain't nobody follow me. Don't even know what I'm in. Don't nobody know I fuck with the hoe.
Don't nobody know what I'm in. That's what I'm telling. Like, these folks ain't knowing these cars. That's what I'm telling him. Like, bro, these folks ain't knowing none of these cars, bro. All these cars are some new goddamn cars. New ain't played.
Yeah. Damn, I hear them boys. Damn.
They're crazy, bro. Don't nobody know. Them folk don't be knowing where that spot at, man.
Yeah.
Somebody get head drop out, boy.
But on God, boy, I know what I believe. On TV, that's what I believe, boy.
Somebody head get it. Hey, boy, I ain't gonna lie, boy. I know you happy like I'm happy, boy. I'm happy as hell, boy. I just was saying to myself. Get what I just was saying to myself. I just was saying to myself, boy. Man, all these niggas might get out except me and D, boy.
Oh, man, on God.
I'm like to him, boy.
I'm gonna call you back out.
Yeah.
That's the end of that call, Your Honor. The state feels this really has two methods of admissibility. The state feels that Garlington and defendant Stillwell speaking about, for one, when they say sticks and FNs, those are firearms. They're mentioning about a female they know, and they say that she's dating or sleeping with the ops. They're also mentioning how APD, this is 2022, was the APD gang units was following the YSL and YFN or IF gang back and forth. And so they kind of, in APD gang unit, when they were talking about, they're like, I don't know McMain. They're laughing. They're kind of saying, I just got to the house. APD is thinking, like, before the investigation is complete, because the shooting just happened, that it was probably YFN who just shot up this Waters Road, which is a known YSL spot, because they believe that they murdered their friends 5 days ago. And so with that said, all of their conversation, they're talking about getting away. You should have run this way through the woods. And when he says, I'm on drill time, because they were just shot at by the state's theory of rivals, if you're on drill time, you're trying to go either shoot somebody or murder somebody in retaliation. And so that's why he says, I was so mad I was on drill time, but the police came because they were just shot at. So they all hid under that, at that house. With all that said, you have statement of party opponent against defendant Stillwell, but the state feels that they're keeping abreast of the conspiracy, talking about how they evaded, police detection, at least for some time. When they're talking about, I think they use the term Miss V, they're talking about Detective Viverito, who also used to be a probation officer and is very familiar with the individuals at that home. And so what happened in terms of the search warrant, Your Honor, is the search warrant was executed March 17th. This was March 16th. But pending any questions from the court, that's why the state feels this is admissible.
So I'm going off of my understanding of the events, and I'm sure Mr. Atkins will correct me if he disagrees. I don't believe what was said earlier by another person on the state side was completely accurate. The police entered the house. They secured the location. They searched the house. I believe, and Mr. Atkins can correct me if I'm wrong, but my recollection is they did find firearms and they found ammunition. The reason I bring that up is because none of the firearms located at the house had anything to do with any crime scenes on this case. So when we're, the state's saying that that's my client, it's clear the context. There's statements, I think retrospective statements about guns. My client, to admit against my client, I concede would not have to be a statement by a co-conspirator. I believe that my argument regarding Mr. Stillwell's statements are a 403. He's talking about guns. He's talking about a lot of guns. All that is bad character, bad. It's prejudicial to us. And I don't believe that any of these firearms that are found in the house, I know none of the firearms that are found in the house have anything to do with any of the charged crimes in this indictment. So that's my argument on behalf of Mr. Stillwell, who doesn't really have a co-conspirator argument.
I think it's more an admission of a party opponent, but it is all retrospective, I believe. And therefore, insofar as it may be a co-conspirator's statement, it is akin to the classic spilling the beans. Man, this is what we did. They came in there. I was running out to the woods. That's all saying what happened. And what happened is the classic spilling the beans. So I don't believe that it would be admissible as a 801 D2E statement, would be my position. Be admissible against others, but not as to the conspiracy.
Potentially admissible against others, I think is what to say.
Your Honor, the classic argument always in furtherance of the conspiracy is always, defense counsel who's trying to keep out a statement is going to orient to spill the beans, and the state's going to argue it's in furtherance. That is the crux of the matter always. The state, and this is in the state's filed response to Mr. Shart's motion for reconsideration on what Demekion Garlington told or Kenneth Copeland when we filed that a couple weeks ago. But the seminal case is Kemp v. State, which is 303 Georgia. I'm using my motion for quick hand to find the site, but 303 Georgia 385, which is 2018. Another important case is Chavers v. State, which is 304 Georgia 88. Oh, my apologies, Madam Court Reporter. Yes, Chavers v. State, 304 Georgia 887, which is a 2019 case that also cites Kemp. And a key part here, when you have, take aside the RICO count one, when you have a criminal street gang, the statements that keep other co-conspirators of the larger criminal street gang, not necessarily the individual murder or crime, keeping them abreast of even past activities, that, and also statements that foster cohesion, because when you listen to this call, right after they've been shot at, right after the police that they were not clearly, trying to evade were there, they are speaking about all of those events in kind of a cohesive unit, right? They shot at us. The police were trying to get us, and they're talking about what happened. So the case law within Kemp, Shavers, all of that is why in gang cases, the criminal street gang, and also the count one conspiracy, which kind of become part and parcel of the same in this case, because it's the YSL enterprise, as the state alleged. Those statements, even of past activities, do serve a purpose because they keep cohesiveness. It keeps an us versus a them, and keeping each other abreast of the criminal enterprise's activities, whether the person speaking or receiving that information individually participated in it. The criminal street gangs activities is something that the case law allows as 801 D2E, as in furtherance. So I just wanted to highlight that for the court, because the state's argument is going to all, when appropriate in this circumstance, the state feels it is, it's going to be under the prognosy, so to speak, of Kemp, Shavers, and I believe Hassan v. State, which is a March 19, 2024 Supreme Court of Georgia, also discusses this, but I wanted to confirm that. But that's a much more recent decision before citing it to the court. But that's the state's response, Your Honor, in terms
Okay,
of why
but
it's in furtherance.
Can I please respond to that? We're talking about, the state starts by saying, oh, the defense always says it's not it's retrospective. Well, the state always says, they throw out these buzzwords: cohesiveness, kept them apprised of the events. So the buzzwords from the state are the same. They're accusing the defense of using, but it's the same buzzwords. It's the same thing every single time. And there are just as many cases out there that say retrospective prior conversations are not part of the co-conspirators exception to the hearsay rule. Stafford versus the state, 312 Georgia 811. State versus Lane, 308 Georgia 10. State versus Wilkins, 302 Georgia 156. There are cases after cases after cases that specifically say a retrospective statement that merely recounts what happened. And that's the whole tenor of this conversation, is not in furtherance of the conspiracy. So, buzzwords go both ways, baby. And I'm just as tired of hearing the cohesiveness and keeping people apprised. So, there are two ways that this goes.
All right. Thank you, counsel. I'm going to admit this as a statement by a party opponent as to Stillwell and admit it additionally under the co-conspirator exception.
Your Honor, the next call we're going to go to is 512, which is, again, March 16th, but it's much later in the day. The last call was at 4:33 a.m. This call is at 6:49 p.m. Mr. Harvey, it's page 512.
Okay, I got it. I'm sorry.
Bruh. Bruh. Oh, D. Yeah. Man, that's what I'm looking at. Weed, man. Man, you told me you had it. I got it now, bro. I got it. You do? And I got a few different flavors. You say you got a few different flavors? Flavors. Oh, okay. The same though? Yep. Okay. When I got now, it was too much going on yesterday. Man, that shit was crazy here, man. 12 had me back like 3-4 hours, man. For real? Sweat. How old are you? Yeah, now they shut up Big Nick spot I was in though. We think. Oh, they shut up Big Nick spot, bro. Yeah, man. So we got down. We think they gonna come back. We think they gonna come back through. 12 pulled up. Careful, D. But them folks shut up Big Nick spot, bro. Man, yeah, I'm coming through the window. All this in the living room, it's crazy, but nobody get hit. And you know what one bid was, bro. One day, one of y'all don't get hit, bro. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, what's wrong with these niggas, run? Man, when that little party just died in McKinneyville, about 2 nights ago. Boy, that's wild. I don't even think Milk know that. Boy, he gonna be. Quay had locked up. That's the only reason he seen his ass. Why ain't he know that? Hey, he locked up, bro. That's the only reason you ain't seen him, bro. Yeah, that shit was last night. If you talk to him on the phone, you know what I'm saying? They be like, shit got shut up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Bob. Yeah. Damn, he gonna
I ain't gonna lie, but that nigga, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy, but your ass need to goddamn be smooth, bro.
Man, good, bro. That's but too much going on. Like this shit. Too much going
No,
on, man.
hey, nigga, bro. Why the hell y'all ain't got no drop on these nigga, bro?
Man, nigga hand, bro.
That's wild, bro. That's wild. I'm on the way to the spot. I just got down, whenever you pop out, bro, pull up on me.
Alright.
All right.
So, Your Honor, they were Big Nick's spot that they reference is what they refer to the Waters Road address as. And when they're discussing about those other people shot us, and the state's theory is they're talking about the rival gang. And they're, stating that it's crazy that no one got hit because there was a significant amount of shell casings at Waters Road. And then he states, one of their partners died a few nights ago, which the state believes they're talking about Chamel Drinks because this happens after that. And so the state feels that this conversation discussing all of those things, even if it's kind of thinly veiled, is again keeping abreast of the gangs, the criminal street gangs activities, and sheds light on how they are viewing what happened at Waters Road from their own mouth and mind.
All right, can I hear it again? And it really would help if y'all would give me your argument first, so I can know what to be listening for.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, before we start, the state said they. Does the state know or who's speaking to Mr. Garlington?
I do not currently know. I'm at this moment. If I do, I will share, but I don't know who Mr. Garlington's speaking with.
Okay, I think he just meant like that the talkers were talking about a we and a they.
Oh, no, I understand. I wasn't
Okay.
accusing him of anything. I was wondering if they knew because I don't know, and I think that's relevant.
Bruh. D.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna look at the wheel, I ain't me.
Now you told me you had it.
I got it now, bro. I got it.
You do.
And I got a few different flavors.
You say you got a few different flavors.
Flavors.
Oh, okay. The same though?
Yep.
Okay. When I got down, it was too much going on yesterday. Man, it's just crazy here, man. Twitter had me about 3-4 hours, man.
For real, sweat. Holy.
Yeah. Yeah, now they shut up Big Nick spot I was in we think.
Oh, they shot a big niche spot, bro.
Yeah, man. So we got down, we think them niggas gonna come back. We think they gonna come back through. 12 pulled up.
God, be careful, D. But them folks shot a big niche spot, bro.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna come through the window. All this in the living room, it's crazy, but nobody get hit.
And you know when one bid was, bro, one day one of y'all gonna get hit, bro. But that's
Yeah, for
bro.
sure. Yeah,
What the fuck
man.
wrong with these niggas, bro?
Man, when they little party just died in Kennerville, about 2 nights ago.
Boy, that's wild. I don't even think Milk know that. Boy, he gonna be.
Yeah.
Quay had locked up. That's the only
For
reason
real?
you seen his ass.
Why ain't he know that?
Hey, he locked up, bro. That's the only reason you ain't seen him, bro.
Yeah, this shit was last night. If you talk to him on the phone, don't, know what I'm saying? If like, shit got shut up, I'm saying.
Yeah, mama.
Yeah.
Damn, he gonna be that. I ain't gonna lie, but that nigga gonna be, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy, but your ass need to goddamn be smooth, bro.
Man, good, bro. But too much going on. Like, this shit.
Two back on man. Hey, nigga, bro. Why the hell y'all ain't got no drop on these nigga, bro?
Man, nigga hand, bro.
That's wild, bro. That's wild. I'm on the way to the spot. I just got down, you know, whenever you pop out, bro, pull up on me, bro.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Any further argument on this one?
I have some, Your Honor.
Okay.
We don't know who Mr. Garlington's talking to. Mr. Stillwell is not a part of this call, so this would have to be a statement in furtherance of a conspiracy. There's no apparent conspiracy, criminal conspiracy that's being discussed. It's a retrospective statement about them being shot or them being Garlington. And I don't think he names anyone else that was there, but Garlington is telling this other unknown individual that people shot at me at Big Nick's spot last night. That is a retrospective statement that falls under the line of cases that Ms. Harvey just cited. And there's also, of course, 11th Circuit cases that talk about spilling the beans as well. So I don't believe that there's any apparent conspiracy that is being discussed here. They're victims. And also anything that's said that's a retrospective statement is not in furtherance of the conspiracy.
Okay, well, I don't hear it as entirely retrospective. They're talking about whether they should be thinking people are coming back, whether they've got the drop on people. It sounds like that's still an ongoing conspiracy, so I'm going to permit it under that exception.
Your Honor, if I could be heard just briefly on the issue.
Yes.
I did, sorry.
Like,
I know.
look
Where's
at
this
all
coming
the-
from?
yes.
Judge, I did hear in the audio recording a name, Quay,
Yeah.
that was heard. And under 403, in an effort to not be misleading or confusing the jury as to, there are a number of people on the indictment that have names that are similar in nature. So we don't know what Quay or that they're referring to. And I would just ask for the court to provide at least somewhat of a 105 instruction that deals with or ferrets out who they are actually referring to. Because I don't believe, I know that they're not referring to Mr. Marquavius Huey.
Okay, and
So I would like to.
is the AKA, I don't know how to say it, I wasn't here for the beginning of this trial. Is that also Quay or is that Qua?
Well, from what
Or no, that's Mr. Nichols. Qua. Are there any Quays that are AKAs to any of the co-conspirators named on the indictment?
Well,
No, but there are plenty of quays as opposed to quas that are mentioned in these wiretaps, none of whom are identified. This particular phone conversation has a quay is locked up.
Yeah.
And that, well, I didn't want to bring this up at this point.
Any idea who the Quay they are referencing in or belief as to who that is?
Your Honor, as I do not know who exactly they are speaking about. I can work on finding out, but I do not know.
Any
And-
idea
and-
whether it's a member of this alleged gang or another alleged gang?
I do believe they're speaking about, well, I want to get clarity from exactly who they're speaking about before I speculate. So I will find that out, Your Honor. And the state's position as well is if the state, there is any number of things in a trial that can come up that, the state is not going to be, other than this wiretap played before the jury, the state is not going to be making any wild reference about who that, like this specific second clip where they say that is not going to be a huge theme of the state's
Yeah.
case. So I don't feel that, a limiting instruction is necessary, but I still will determine, at least within the gang experts and ABD, who they believe and who the state's theory
Okay,
believes they're
well,
talking about.
and the reason.
Somebody can probably tell me the nickname or street name or whatever that Mr. Huey is alleged to go by. How is that pronounced?
In the indictment. it was-
Right,
it
that's
was-
what I'm talking
it
about.
was Initially, by the predecessor judge, he used qua, and then there was a correction or amendment to that reading, and he referenced quay. So Mr. Huey has been referenced in the indictment and has come out during this trial
In front of the jury?
in front of the jury. Do you know quay?
Okay,
So that's why it's important for our team to make sure that there's no misleading or confusion under 403 as it relates to who they're talking to in this particular
okay. Well,
recording.
I mean, it sounded to me from the conversation that they were not talking about anybody that they were a compatriot of, but possibly somebody that might have been the opposition. But yeah, we can circle back on that.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Your Honor, the next call we'll be going to is 6:35. This is on March 17th at 4:10 PM.
Give me just a second.
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I might have skipped one, Your Honor. I actually believe the next one's 5:23.
That's what I was about to ask.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp, which is at 9, so it's roughly 3 hours after the call we just discussed. And
Okay.
yeah, yes, Your Honor.
So 513. What's the page number?
It is page number 523, reference number 513.
Okay. All right.
And Your Honor, the state's theory of what this call discusses is, for one, there's a mention of they flipped a car under the bridge by the Ville. The Ville, the state believes, is Mechanicsville. Shamel Drinks was murdered near a bridge in a vehicle. And so they're also discussing the funeral of the March 11th murder of Mr. Ford and Mr. McMiller.
Do we know who the other person is?
So the call, the phone number, which ends in 0484 for this call, I have associated with a Mr. Wright, who is a 30 Deep member, according to APD Gang Detectives, with a nickname of WOT. So, Your Honor, we're going to play that call now.
Hey, man, you ain't doing that, baby, boy. I've been out, nigga. What's up, man? I ain't seen you, boy. Man, who the hell did everybody talk to? I said, but I ain't talk that nigga ass. Somebody from jail, man. Oh, yeah, I think. I didn't talk to Free. He asked me much. Yeah, he called me after that little shit happened last night. I called him. Then he shit went straight to voicemail. Oh, yeah, it was like, I called the detail on there trying to check up on him, man. Yeah, man, them folks hit. Them folks shot the spot, man. It's about so what spot? He fucking Free. Last night, well, you know, I wasn't even gonna come out. Man, yeah. He was like, goddamn, pull up. We were finna be on one. Goddamn. So y'all was in there? In there, boy, about 6, 7 deep. Tunk just had them pulled out, boy. Damn, that's some food. I thought they already went over there and shot one upside. They did, but still, man, that's on some everyday shit. They double back. Oh, you talking about oh, yes, right? Yeah. Ain't nobody went next, right?
Oh, no, I heard it a couple days ago. Somebody they said they went over there.
Oh,
That's why I ain't
yeah,
know.
nah,
But
yeah, nah.
he said they just went over there last night.
Yeah, well, we there, man. I'm like, yeah, man. Boy, I wasn't even finna come over here, man.
Yeah, you talking about? Yeah, I ain't even know nothing about this.
Yeah, then look, we like here. We think we like, all right, they gonna come back through. Man, we think they gonna come back through so we can hit that motherfucker up, man. 12 pull up, man. Hey, what?
In the house?
Yeah, I'm like, yo, we hit them folk like, cause we got our lights out. Them folk like, we gonna have to come in. We gonna have to come in. We goddamn, make sure ain't nobody dead. Man, I hit the back door like, hey, boy, I'm on parole, man. All this shit in here, man.
Hey, you talking about?
Hey.
Y'all have to come in.
Yeah, no, we just heard them talk to the other officer like, yeah, we can go in, make sure ain't nobody. Man, it be them up under the house. Goddamn, man, about 4 of us in the house. They keep saying, man, you don't go out. I'm like, man, I got me fucked up, man.
You took out right?
No, I hit the back door. The folks on, it was on both sides. And I was just like, I seen them on one side, 'cause I was just gonna sit in the car, in the yard.
Yeah.
But I seen them looking at the cars over there, go through the other way. They know they was over there. I feel like, hey, come here. I'm like, hey, man, I just heard some gunshot. Yeah,
you
I'm like,
say?
hey, man, I just heard gunshot, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, where you coming from? Like the wood. I'm dry here. It pouring down rain. No, for like, man, you ain't wet at all, man. I'm like, man, tell me, man. I was in the woods. I don't know how I ain't wet. I was in the woods. But I ain't no savage.
Man, what?
Y'all check that house, found them guns. I went in there, boy.
Hell, no, I ain't got nothing to do with
They
that house.
still went in there though. They checked that. That was good, boy. It be safe.
Oh, they ain't searched.
They'll make sure.
They just looked around.
Make sure nobody dead.
Yeah, so when nobody know when they went in?
Yeah. They found now. Goddamn, look Quay and another name.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, hell.
What they at the house?
Yeah, I'm finna pop out for Colt on her. Colt, they got a little video shoot.
Oh, they got a video shoot.
Yeah. I ain't really been outside, bro. I really not. Bro, you ain't got nobody who been trying to say you no pill. Boy, nigga, bro.
Man, I think I'm gonna get a pill tomorrow.
One guy just told me get 120 tomorrow. Shit, that 1,800. I told him give me all on. Then I gotta get some weed. Boy, I ain't make no money in 5 days, boy.
Yeah, nigga gotta make some, yeah.
Boy, now it been too much going on.
Too much going on, oh yeah, nigga gotta see what's going. They felt nigga get up under the bridge in the Ville.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard. Where the hell you at?
I'm right here in the Ville. I'm right here in the store.
You say you at the store?
In the little 2-4 store that I had at the bottom.
Yeah. Where the hell you been at, man?
Shit, I've been around the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even really be popping out at nighttime, though.
It was nighttime. Yeah, everything going on in the day, though.
Yeah.
Especially, they been dry here, boy.
Boy, I know it, boy. Oh, God.
Yeah,
we probably in that little studio and shit, though. Like, everybody be at the studio with. Other than that, like,
what they talking about, man, what they funnel and shit?
Man was gonna be private with bid gonna be public. They say man mama won't let dog pay for the film.
Oh yeah, they were like they say his mama like, well, she don't want to come.
Yeah, they said she don't even want to come.
Yeah, I already told them before, but folks family gonna be talking crazy anyway. Like they gonna be like, we don't want no money, nothing. Like they gonna be tripping.
Yeah, you know how.
That's just how this shit be,
yeah. I'm like, damn.
And why I know he just like, man, he just respect it. He just know how this shit is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never said what the hell you had going on. I just chilling.
I'm pull up on you like tonight or tomorrow or something.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so I can see the part about needing to get drugs and money to, drugs to sell coming in as a co-conspirator statement. The rest of it, you're gonna have to flesh out a little bit more how that is anything more than them just kind of talking about stuff that's already happened and a funeral that's gonna happen, but that isn't,
You
a part of any kind of conspiracy.
understood, Your Honor. And also, because this came up again on this call, one of the quay that they mentioned very briefly, there is, I don't know definitively they're talking about this individual, but one of the individuals at Waters Road
Uh-huh.
is Quaytez is his first name, last name Arnold. So they may potentially, in reference of who was at Waters Road with them, be referring to that individual just through context. But number two, a key part of this call that the state wanted to introduce was when, in the state's reading of this call, when they laugh about, I heard that someone got flipped, they flipped a car under by the bridge in the Ville.
Yeah, I heard.
And then they kind of laugh in a way that's like an inside joke laughter. And Demikion Garlington is one of the individuals charged with Chanel Drink's murder. And so when they make that comment, that specific comment, to answer the court's question, I believe that them laughing and saying that, I don't know. I guess the truth of the matter of that would be that there was someone whose car was flipped in the Ville. I mean, the state believes they're talking about Chanel Drinks, but it's not saying that he's confessing to that, but it's the fact that they're laughing, saying that I think that the state believes is important in terms of when they make that comment, that reaction that they both have kind of instantaneously is an important contextual detail of how they discuss kind of light reference to something that's eerily similar to the murder of Chanel Drinks. And so that specific portion, the state believes has a non-hearsay purpose, which is really their laughter
Okay.
to that statement. The state does agree in terms of, I know we initially stated, or what we provided was the entire call, but so the state, what I will do, Your Honor, is to provide clarity for both defense counsel and the court, is I would like to, I can by tomorrow at least have the state's proposed time hacks of what
Okay.
we would play so that we can address it tomorrow efficiently,
Okay.
because I don't want to, if the court permits.
Okay. I'll let you do that.
And does that include addressing the issue concerning that name, Lil Quay? Again, that gets us into that same issue. While the state says they have a theory on who they believe that person is, who is not Mr. Marquavius Huey, we again are left with this confusing, misleading information concerning Quay again. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration as well. We believe, again, we think that it's a confusion.
I mean,
misleading.
that reference was to Lil Quay and it wasn't to him, whoever Lil Quay is, doing anything wrong. So,
Well, again,
I mean,
agree.
if you want to come up with some instruction that, I mean, I can't give an instruction that says you may hear a reference to a Quay in this call. That's not Marquavius Huey, because I don't know whether it is or not. So, I mean, I can't give that instruction. I'm not sure quite what you want me to give. Hey, a lot of people go by Quay.
Well, I want you to help me out with 403 and how sometimes evidence should be left out if it's confusing and misleading to the extent that it
Well,
causes a jury that
It may be that part of this is not in the more narrow. So let's talk about that
Thank you, Judge.
whenever we come back to that.
Thank you.
All right. Remind me.
Yes, Your Honor.
We're reserving argument.
Yeah, we're just gonna, no point arguing if
Right.
it ends up being two little things that,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, we'll just come back to this one. Sure, but let's find out what they are first. And give me a second. I mean, you can be queuing it up, but I've got to write myself notes so I know why we're coming back to
Yes,
stuff.
Your Honor.
Okay, ready.
Yes, Your Honor. So the next call is going to be 635, PDF page 635, reference number 624.
All right. So what's gonna be like the significance
Yes, Your
of
Honor.
this, and why do y'all think this comes in?
So, Your Honor, this is Demekion Garlington speaking to the caller about the search warrant on Waters Road, and says that Miss V is on them, in the state's theory referencing Detective Viverito.
Okay,
He calls the individual on this call Unc, like UNC. I don't
Mhm.
exactly, the state does not know who definitively he's talking with as Unc. I would
Mhm.
like to reserve this one, because to know with this, the topic of this discussion, it's more important than in other situations where someone's like asking for a gun or trying to get
Okay.
drugs, of this individual's relationship with the street gang.
Okay,
If I could add this to one to discuss tomorrow.
sure. So we can come back to this one. as
Yes, Your
well.
Honor.
Okay,
513, we're coming back to in 624, or it's 523,
523 and
635.
635, yeah.
And Your Honor, on a similar vein, this is the only other one I see coming up recently. 820, which is PDF page 820, reference number 806. It's the same number, same individual.
So come back to that one.
Yes, Your
too?
Honor. Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor. So, Your Honor, the next call is 1079. Excuse me. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. This call's on March 21st, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to add this before you listen. I just want the court to know that my client, Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Nichols, had been arrested by this time.
All right. Thank you.
And so, Your Honor, in the states, what the state highlighted in this call, just before we play it, is they say that SHIT just came in, and Unfunk, who is defendant Williams' brother, has already pled out on this indictment, just called and told me to pull up. The state believes that they're talking about some type of contraband drugs when they say that it just came in and told him to pull up. The reason the state, I don't definitively know. It's not like I have a eyes on Garlington and he goes and picks up a bag of drugs, but it's in the context of other wiretap calls where Garlington is primarily selling Percocets. And so that's why the state wanted to highlight this, because it speaks somewhat in code and also references another co-conspirator when he says the shit just came in, Unfunk just called and told me to pull up, which is like in reference to going to get it from another co-conspirator,
Okay.
at least in the state's theory.
Okay.
And Your Honor, this is a very brief portion. We're going to start at 26 seconds and end at 31 seconds.
Yep. They called, so I said,
For the record, we're starting at 23 seconds, Your Honor.
Man, what you say? I said some shit that came in. One for that car, so he go, so he pull up that now. He get 9 times.
Any argument on this one?
Yes.
Okay,
Once again, too long on guesses and too short on facts. It's just an assumption. It's the fact-free world of conjecture.
their argument is a reasonable inference that could be made by a jury from this evidence. That's all that's really required, so. How about an evidentiary objection? Any of those?
Relevance 401.
Relevant to their argument that part of what the enterprise engaged in was illegal drug sales. So overruled.
Your Honor, the next call is PDF page 1124, reference number 1109. This is on March 21st. The key part of this call, and the state's intending to play 17 seconds to 19 seconds, is the individual says, "I'm trying to get the weed, answer your FaceTime," which again goes to the state's theory of before and after or during criminal activity, they utilize FaceTimes so that what is discussed can't be recorded and phone logs or phone references are not tracked.
Yo.
Yo,
For the record, Your Honor, we're starting at 14 seconds.
what's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Come what you doing? I'm trying to get the weed.
What is it? D.
Yeah.
All right, shit, I'm gonna call you. Matter of fact, I'm see your FaceTime. I'm right here at the spot. I'm see your FaceTime. Look, too.
All right.
And Your Honor, we ended up playing it till 29 seconds. I think that was a typo. It was meant to be 17
Okay.
seconds to 29 seconds.
Any argument? An objection?
Same thing. Again, it's speculation. I'm trying to get some weed. That could be to smoke a doobie over a steak that night.
Could be. Nonetheless, eventually speaking, it is admissible under the co-conspirator exception.
Well, and remember now, Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Nichols are incarcerated. So if somebody else is out there trying to do something on their own, it may not be admissible against Mr. Stillwell. and
I'm
Mr.
just
Nichols.
not buying the concept that just because somebody is in jail, they're no longer a part of an ongoing conspiracy. I mean, in an ideal world, that might be true. But there's, and that'll, y'all have to, if you want to make that argument or present evidence that it all stops them.
Well, it presumptively stops them upon arrest. I've heard no argument to you or any proffered facts that either one of these gentlemen can the arrest stops it.
Well, I mean, I guess at least as to Mr. Stillwell, I might need to revisit the whole thing about drugs found in his cell.
But-
Your Honor, I was just about to say, because the Harvey rule is in effect,
You're
I am-
opting out of that
I
one?
am opting out of Mr. Harvey's argument and I'm opting out of the
I-
Harvey rule.
That would be smart of you for this particular argument. So, I mean, he might have something as to Mr. Nichols with regard to this, unless y'all got something that would suggest that it's on, this is something that Mr. Nichols continued to be involved with, because I do think the law is kind of that arrest kind of is a pause on certain things. So,
Your Honor, what we will research for the court is, because this, for example, the call we just played was on March 21st of 2022. Certainly both charge counts and overt acts in this indictment in the conspiracy occur after that, as recent, at least in the indictment, as May 9th, 2022, where the search was at the home of defendant Williams with drugs and firearms. With all that said, also you have incidents that happened in both Fulton County Jail and three-way calls from individuals in prison. So it's the state's theory.
do any of those involve Mr. Nichols?
Well, it's the state's contention that because of the RICO conspiracy they do, because he hasn't avowed himself or disavowed the conspiracy in this specific conspiracy as alleged by the state, and believes the evidence will come in, shows that this conspiracy operates quite easily and effectively within both prison and jail, as in the attempted murder of Mr. Rayshawn Bennett, as in some of these happened since the case has been in trial. So the state, we will find research on this specific issue, because I am aware of what the court's representing in terms of, if you had a drug conspiracy case and one individual, not a RICO, not a gang count, but just two individuals in a drug conspiracy, there's some case law about if one of them went to prison or jail, was confined, you couldn't hold their separate one unless they were somehow communicating. I think the RICO and street gang changes that calculus, but I'll find case law to back that up, Your Honor.
Thank you.
The next call that we will be going to is PDF page 1155 and reference number 1140. This is a March 21st, 2022 call. The state, this is not confirmed, but the gang experts believe that this is Unfunk, Mr. Greer, who was referenced, but it's not confirmed. But what is said and why the state wanted to play this is everything's dying down. So, and then it has a couple expletives that basically says these people think that they're up. We're supposed to get out of town for a little, I'm telling you, man. And it's the state's belief that in the world of criminal street gangs being up, there's references, not specifically on this wiretap or in this call, but from APD gang detectives about like, it's like a scoreboard, or so being up on someone is like, we have more murders or more violent acts on you. So we have the dominance over you. And so that's why the state wants to play this when it says everything's dying down after there's been murders of YSL members. They've been shooting up Waters Road. And then it says we're supposed to get out of town. That's why the state wanted to play this part.
Okay.
And 14 seconds through 46 seconds is the portion the state tends to play. We'll probably start at the beginning just to give some context, Your Honor.
One say to him, yeah, that shit, FaceTime shit was tripping. I said, let me know, I'm gonna pull up. Oh yeah, nigga, you already know, man. We just gotta move, everything dying down. So now these fuck niggas think they, yeah. That's all we're going on. Everything dying down. Yeah. You know how they go. That's why we pulled goddamn went out of town for a little minute, bro. These niggas they wanted me to pay for the shit, and nobody want to put in their money to pay, bro.
Everybody hesitate to put in the pay for the fucking Airbnb. I'm like,
That's the part of the safety.
Okay. Yeah, you already know about this one.
There's no doubt that Mr. Garlington is a talker, but not everything he says furthers the conspiracy. And this is just two people being chatty. And it's just idle chatter and not in furtherance of any aspect of this conspiracy.
All right, I'm gonna admit that under the co-conspirator exception, appears that they're still contemplating future moves as a group. What's our next one?
Your Honor, our next one is reference number 1163, PDF page number 1181. And the part that the state wants to introduce is Garlington is speaking with DeMarco Boyer, whose nickname is Little Co. And so he says, I'm fixing to have Co pull up and give him that stick.
Okay,
And so the state wanted to just highlight the exchange of firearms and reference to firearms in their own. So the state will play it. We're playing the entire call. I believe it's quite short.
Where you at? I'm finna have Cody pull up, give him that the stick. All right.
all right.
When I have this Excel spreadsheet on my computer, I think I read the one above. That's what Deputy Hilton was, who he was speaking with is a female, but he's talking about Mr. Boyer, as in he's telling this female he's gonna have Mr.
Okay.
Boyer get his stick.
All right. That seems to be covered under co-conspirator exception. Are there other objections besides that? I mean,
Again, Mr. Nichols is incarcerated, telling somebody else is gonna pull up with a stick. I don't see how that is in the course of
all
it.
right. Well, we're waiting on that law.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
just reserve my objection, please.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I mean, I'll email it to the court and everyone, but it's, I think, United States versus Harding, Harding. It's 2024 United States Appeal, Lexus 14995. It was decided June 20th of this year. It's in Division 3A, as in Elisa. And it does say what Mr. Harvey said. Generally, a co-conspirator participation in a conspiracy ends with his arrest.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that's the general rule. What I'm looking for law on is what are the exceptions? When is that not the case? So, yeah, no, I thank you. That maybe wasn't clear about that. I'm looking for what I just said. Okay.
So, Your Honor, the next call is reference number 1205, PDF page 1224. And this is Garlington talking with Mr. Wright, whose street name is WOT, where Mr. Garlington and Mr. Watt, like you've heard reference about 30 deep, it comes up with Mr. Copeland. And so they were 30 deep. Mr. Garlington was 30 deep and then became YSL, but that is who he's speaking with. And the state is going to be playing 904 to 1032.
Okay.
been talking to the whole you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. He got a lawyer, right?
They say brother, for to get out of boy money. Say he gonna get Brian and the other nigga he gonna get out of it. Like,
Man, the shot with the clothes got locked up for it.
nah, they were the one they said they looking for. I just talked to him the other day. About 2 days, yesterday, 2 days ago.
That's the shot on the low, like, oh hell no.
Hell yeah, boy, he keep calling. Hey, D, bro. What the hell going on? I'm like, shit, but I don't know.
Damn. He calling
Yeah.
you like what's going on?
Man, he calling everybody.
He just drunk.
Yeah, hell yeah, but I ain't did that.
Yeah, I knew it.
But you know how that shit, you brother need to gonna have to ride. Nigga know you gonna get through it, but I just know a nigga like, well, nigga ain't did nothing, bro.
That little Jonathan ride, OD?
Man,
I mean, you don't really never know. They don't have no choice. If you saying you don't have no choice. Like,
yeah.
you see what I'm saying? In real life, like, you ain't got no choice. You gotta go however long these folks ride until they let you go.
Yeah. I said, them boys gonna be good, but wow. I'm put my name in that shit.
Oh, hell.
And Your Honor, we're going to back up just a little bit. We just started a couple seconds before when the context for this portion to start. And for the record, we're going to start at 8 minutes and 35 seconds.
To the house tomorrow.
Oh.
She came by herself.
Oh, okay. So she had came.
Yeah, I had my phone on. I went to see the news and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what?
He still been talking to that little hoe?
Who?
Who you with all that JJ first?
When?
I said, AB still been talking to that little hoe. Who you with?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He got a lawyer, right?
They say brother, for to get out of boy money. Say he gonna get Brian and the other nigga he gonna get out of it. Like,
Man, the shot with the clothes got locked up for it.
nah, they were the one they said they looking for. I just talked to him the other day. About 2 days, yesterday, 2 days ago.
That's the shot on the low, like, oh hell no.
Hell yeah, boy, he keep calling. Hey, D, bro. What the hell going on? I'm like, shit, but I don't know.
Damn. He calling you like what's going on?
Man, he calling everybody.
He just drunk.
Yeah, hell yeah, but I ain't did that.
Yeah, I knew it.
But you know how that shit, you brother need to gonna have to ride. Nigga know you gonna get through it, but I just know a nigga like, well, nigga ain't did nothing, bro.
That little Jonathan ride, OD?
Man,
I mean, you don't really never know. They don't have no choice. If you saying you don't have no choice. Like,
yeah.
you see what I'm saying? In real life, like, you ain't got no choice. You gotta go however long these folks ride until they let you go.
Yeah. I said, them boys gonna be good, but wow. I'm gonna put my name in that shit.
Oh, hell no. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the portion, Your Honor. It's the state's theory that when he says bro is going to give all the boys money, he is referring to defendant Williams. That's a common theme that the state has put forth argument on to the court. That's why the state wanted to include this in terms of when criminal street gang activity occurs, trying to further the conspiracy through that. That's a common argument the court's heard about the relevancy of that, Your Honor.
All right, what about the rest of it?
So, Your Honor, they when they mention little Shorty got locked up for the clothes, Miles Farley, who was charged with, he's one of the individuals charged with Chanel Drink's murder. he had a clothing line like Keep America Slime. And so that when they say this comes up a couple times on the wiretap, and it's going to come up kind of frequently because you're going to hear later about YFN and some Goodfellas, which is another street gang members, attacked Miles Farley when he was in the Fulton County Jail. But people reference him in terms of Little Shorty who sells the clothes. And so it shows familiarity with, and he was not on this date of March 22nd. I do not believe he was not arrested yet. And so that was the portions that the state, and then they say he's just going to have to ride, don't put my name in this. And at the time, of course, Mr. Garlington is not arrested either for this. And so we're going to get in a couple calls where he gets nervous when he hears about stuff on the news or they're worn out because when he's making these calls, he's obviously not incarcerated.
So, in regards to the second part of that call, it is Mr. Garlington giving his retrospective version of events and talking about what Mr. Farley is feeling to apparently the state believes this is Mr. Wright. I don't know how this kind of, again, idle chatter about what Mr. Farley is going through and everything else, while the state might believe that's relevant, it still has to fall under a hearsay exception. And this sort of chatter is not furthering the conspiracy. And so, I mean, I see the state's argument about relevance, but again, they need that hook to fit through a hearsay exception.
Is there some other meaning to when he says he's just gonna have to ride? Y'all have a theory as to what that means? I'm so sorry. Are we just gonna have to ride with a theory as to what they mean by that?
So the state's theory in this context is essentially he's going to have to ride it out. Like when Farley he didn't have any criminal history to my knowledge before this happened. And so what ends up happening is when he goes to Fulton County Jail and some of these calls that come up, they try to get protection for him. And so they're basically like, he needs to ride it out, not tell on anyone, not, panic and just stay the course. That's what I believe that they're talking about.
All right,
That's the state's theory.
okay. I mean, I would think, I thought that might be what the theory was, but I mean, that sounds like them still sort of, here's our plan for how we're gonna handle this as we, the enterprise, go through it.
Well, the way I hear it, Your Honor, respectfully, is that Garlington may opine like that's what Mr. Farley needs to do, but there's no directive or plan to convey that to Mr. Farley, as far as I can see in this call. So, I mean, even if it does mean he needs to ride it out, I mean, that anyone can say, oh, someone else just needs to be patient. You need to ride it out. You need to let the criminal justice system run its course. But the state, I think, is making a huge jump from that to, oh, he needs to be quiet. And
Well, right after that, he says, don't put my name in that.
well, and that's to me,
So, I mean,
that's Mr. Garlington.
this may not be that every indicted and unindicted member of the co-conspirator is on, a Zoom call saying, all right, here's how we're going to do this. But everybody doesn't have to know every little thing everybody's doing under the law. So I'm going to admit this under that exception.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I believe I heard a reference to what I think is my name, and I would ask the court to exclude that.
Yes. Can y'all redact that out, please? Yes.
And of course, we'll do as the court instructs. We do have a point at which we believe later on in trial that we would be presenting evidence, and we would ask the court's permission, bring it up to the court as Judge Glanville had instructed us to do so. There will be a point where we believe it will become necessary to bring up the fact that there has been representation of multiple persons, or an attempt to provide representation for multiple persons in YSL. By Mr. Steele, he is correct that we were instructed not to bring up his name before we brought the issue before the court so that the court hears it. The court may or may not be aware that prior to trial actually starting with this jury, we had a hearing on whether or not Mr. Steele should not be qualified to represent a party in this case. The judge determined that there was not a conflict, but also noted that the case may be that the state has the right to present that evidence, but before we do, we have to bring it to the court's attention and litigate that issue.
All right, well, at this point, y'all hadn't done that yet, so excise his name.
Yes.
And when do you expect to get to that point?
Because this is, I believe, the second reference that we've had, there will be multiple times. We didn't want to bring it in, like piecemeal here, piecemeal there. So it would be later on, like at the latter part of the trial, around the time that we present the Drinks murder, that we would be bringing up Mr. Steele's representation. If the court permit, we're going to bring it to the court's attention.
Okay, so I don't know. Obviously, we'll need some more non-jury days at some point besides what we've had this week to sort out other issues that we know are on the horizon. But for right now, let's just take his name out.
Yes, Your Honor.
And let's leave his name out of that, no matter what my ultimate ruling is on why it might ultimately be relevant. All right?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we stop and take a restroom break? Be back at 3. That gives everybody about 12 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor. The following after that is reference number 1739, PDF page 1762, which is a March 28th, 2022 call. And on that call, Your Honor, is Little Co. Mr. Boyer, who asked Demekion Garlington that he needs to come get the blick, and he told Garlington to take it home with him. And then Garlington replies that he has his fire at the house, but he just didn't bring it with him. And then they asked for an address. Again, that's what the portion of this wiretap call the state wants to play to show, one, how they reference firearms, and two, how firearms get exchanged between members. Quatarius Zachary, which the court has heard about when we went through his interview, and other evidence will come out. He gets arrested with a firearm that ballistically gets connected with the shooting of 1007 Hill Street, which was the mother of Mr. Bennett's mother's home. It's common, but the state doesn't actually believe or have evidence of that Mr. Zachary himself was part of that. So it shows that firearms get switched, exchanged, passed between both YSL gang members and sometimes other or allied street gangs. And so again, that's why the state wants to play this. It's a brief portion.
Okay, and it's to show how they reference the guns, like the terms they use to reference the guns, flick and fire, and that they exchange them amongst each other and allied people. Do I need to listen to that, or?
The state does not believe you have to, Your Honor,
Okay,
unless you want to.
I don't want to unless I have to, because I think it goes a lot more quickly if we don't have to cue it up, listen. If I need to, I will.
Well, before I argue about the admissibility, it says the entire call. So is the state representing that is the subject matter of the entire call, or they're going to limit the excerpt to that discussion?
That is correct, Mr. Sharp. And I don't believe it's a very long call. It's 2 minutes, 52 seconds. I will get more clarity, but it's where you need to come over and get this blick. I'm geeked up at the studio. I told you to take the blick back. And then they mentioned running into someone, and I don't have that blick on him. I got the fire at the house, and they talk about send me the address. So I'll find when that time is, but that's the statements that we're referencing.
Okay, well,
I can just listen to it. I'll just listen to it.
Yes, Your Honor.
And we'll find out.
Yo. Hello? Yeah. Sorry. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, bro. Where? Bro, you need to come over and get me blick, bro. I'm back. Where the hell you at? I'm at the same one you just left, man. That shit got below me, bro. Yo, I told you to take the blick on with you, bro. It don't matter, bro. Yeah, you right. Yeah, you go for then you have to go to him, bro. Like, come on, bro. Rubbing the niggas, you ain't having no profit. Oh, that's man. That shit about to blow me, man. I don't like this shit. It wasn't even that. It was just like, this shit. I'm like, man, shit, I went club. I ain't gonna run nobody out here. This on TV, but it ran that nigga. D-boy, nigga got down. Nigga got down. He way out. That one nigga, anytime nigga ain't got that blick on him, twin. That one some shit got down, been in the house, man. Yeah. Way like that, bro. No blick, bro. You can go get that blick, but you can take that blick home, bro. You can take when you stay home or something, bro. Nah, I got to fight the house. I just told you I ain't bringing that, but like, you gotta send me the address. Come to it. Just go get it. Look here, I'm finna pull in right now. You know I gotta have one of these niggas drop the pin. Yeah.
But I'm pulling up right now.
So like on the GPS, what to type in?
Type in look here, see they come to a little head house. Cause it is after little head house. You feel me? I'm
Yeah.
literally 2 minutes away from the studio right now. As soon as I get there, I can drop in.
All right, well, I'm gonna have her go get my car.
Type in the cave. Yeah, type in down the cave, gone. I don't even know that shit still on
So the
the
whole
prime
thing.
time. That shit gone too. Type
Your Honor, this wasn't this. There's a call that was shared in the initial Dropbox
Okay.
co-conspirator link. It's 1760, which is 2 minutes before this call.
Mhm.
That should have been on this XL because it's directly related to why he's talking about getting the firearm.
Okay.
And so that call, I would like to play 1760, and the state also would like to introduce that call. And to give a
Okay.
little context with this is from consulting with APD gang detectives who investigated this in real time. Mr. Garlington coincidentally goes to a hotel in Cobb County, and there's a rival gang member whose street name is Little Blizzy, who, after the murder of Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford, there's a whole lot of, I don't know the way to put it, just vile, disrespectful social media posts about, like, there's a picture of individuals X'd out next to their child, and say now they don't have a father, things of that nature that escalates significantly the animosity and the violence. And so Little Blizzy, that murder was never solved, but he is in the far end of the spectrum of sending out very disrespectful social media posts after that double homicide. And so the significance, and we'll play this call right now, of Mr. Garlington running into him. He didn't have a firearm on him, and so he just randomly runs into him in a hotel. And so this call we just played when he's talking about coming to get the gun is basically, they're like, you need to keep that gun on you because there's a lot going on. So I wanted to play and apologize for not having this on here. That was just an error of the 1760, which is at 1:56 a.m. The call we just played was at 1:58 a.m.
Okay.
So I'm going to play PDF page 1760, reference number 1736. Thank you.
where the hell you at?
Hey, so crazy. I was just in the car, and tell you, I just ran into the nigga, bro.
For real?
How you know? That what you calling me back?
Nah. Hell, not at all.
Oh, I thought nigga said something else, man.
What he said?
Nah, not him. The nigga, the Blizzard.
What he say?
Shit, he seen me turn his head
For real?
on DV. Yeah, he seen that. I tried to look at him, but he turned this shit.
What he saying that?
Man, we at the same hotel
Right now.
right now.
Damn, be safe on that, man.
I know it, but I ain't got my.
The nigga say the real J. Carl say he finna shoot a video. He want us in the video.
What about the studio?
Yeah, I'm finna meet them back up here, but he need to come back outside. But at least let me give you a gun or something.
Which one? My side.
The one we were just at.
What was it?
Hold on, they call me out.
So that is 1760, Your Honor. The state, well, if the court would like to hear 1762, but
That's what we just heard, right?
we heard 1760, which I think gives a lot more clarity to.
Before that.
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. So the state feels that both of those are in furtherance of the conspiracy because Demikian Garlington, a YSL street gang member, is calling and notifying people about who he ran into, a rival gang member, and he actually makes multiple calls that we're not going to play all of these, where he's trying to get, and he references this interaction in the hotel.
So, Your Honor, Mr. Garlington has a long criminal history. I don't know when the state feels that Mr. Garlington met Mr. Stillwell, but Mr. Garlington was allegedly, or he pled guilty to committing crimes before Mr. Stillwell knew him, before Mr. Williams knew him, and he has plenty ability to commit crimes without being associated with anyone here. And at some point, we're just, again, I understand that being arrested doesn't absolutely close you off from a conspiracy. I think it's fair to say there is a presumption. I know, but I understand it's not absolute. I understand it's not that simple. But at some point, we are in a situation where we have two gentlemen in jail, and Mr. Garlington going about his criminal life. And that is, whether he's associated with other people or not, or whether the state is alleging that he's associated with other people, everything that Mr. Garlington chooses to do and every crime that he chooses to commit in his day-to-day life does not involve my client, does not involve Mr. Nichols. And the state is, at this point, trying to bring in Mr. Garlington's chatter about picking up guns and selling drugs and all these things that Mr. Garlington's been doing for years, and somehow impute them on two gentlemen that are in jail. And that's my concern. I understand that it's not an absolute that my client is no longer part of a conspiracy, but the state is theorizing, but there has to be a difference between Mr. Garlington's everyday criminality and criminality that is specific to an alleged association with YSL. And that's my concern, is at this point, we're just throwing in his everyday criminality, and it's making my client, who is associated with him through social media and other things, and that's just a fact that I'm going to have to deal with. But at some point, it's creating character issues and prejudicing the defense of my client.
Your Honor, if the state may.
Yeah, who's the other person that,
So,
who the other person is?
yes, it is DeMarco Boyer,
Oh, right, you said that, okay.
who is affiliated with an allied gang, PDE. And so with that said, also in reference, when defendant Stillwell is arrested, there's a contraband phone. He's still speaking with Demekion Garland. And the state indicted and believes that both Demekion Garland and Shannon Stillwell, 11 days before this, murdered Shamel Drinks, a YFN member. And this little Blizzy is, again, someone in that same rival gang. So Demekion Garlington trying to get a firearm to take out a rival opposition is in furtherance of the criminal conspiracy that the state alleges defendant Stillwell is still a part of, and all the defendants are, before, during, and after this March 28th call when it's made. So it's not just Mr. Garlington on his own. It's in furtherance of that criminal street gang, which has to retaliate for a double homicide that they are blatantly, disrespecting on social media. And that, in the world of criminal street gangs, cannot be tolerated and has to be handled with more violence. And so that's why the state's theory that this is in direct furtherance of the criminal conspiracy, because if Garlington got a firearm and shot or murdered little Blizzy, that would be in furtherance of the criminal street gang. So him trying to get that firearm is helping move that needle forward in terms of the conspiracy.
Understood. These two both appear to meet the 801D2E exception. What's our next statement?
Our next statement is 1759. reference number 1759, PDF page 1782, which is March 28th, 2022. I think Mr. Harvey likes the reference numbers. The state likes the PDF page numbers, so I'll give both.
Well, thanks, because the court likes the reference numbers too.
Then that's the state's preference is the reference numbers, Your Honor. So we're going to play, I think it's only 57 seconds of the call.
57 seconds of it, but I don't know where they're starting yet. I don't think they've said that yet.
Yeah, the total call is 57 seconds, Your Honor. And Mr. Garlington is calling. I want to make sure I read. So the state believes the voice sounds like Unfong Quantavious Greer. Not 100% confirmed, but that's who the state believes he's talking with. And so the state, and what is said is Garlington is told that a YFN member wants to talk to him, and the other party tells Garlington to call them when they are all around. So this is in the context of, you know, there's a lot of back and forth, and there's also, so long story short, it's how they're referencing and speaking about a rival gang, YFN, the state wants to highlight, and we'll play that now.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, nigga? What the hell? Right here, shit, downtown. What up? From 7-7, I want to watch and come somebody want to talk to you. They want to talk to me? Yeah, you know the one who I told you about that while I used to be before, though. Yeah. Yeah, to my man, tell him to call me, bro. Tell him to call me, bro. He not like that, bro. Tell I just want to talk, bro. Good shit like that. I'm like, shit, bro. I heard later message, bro. This shit back now. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I just later message to you. Type shit. Yeah. So you call when we all around, so we, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That what I'm doing. I'm calling when we all around. So I'm on my side. I'll let you call me, brother. All right.
And so, Your Honor, the state doesn't have, I don't know exactly what this YFN member wants to speak with, but the fact that this is being set up and kind of having like a mediator to talk between them is relevant to show, because this constantly through this trial from 2015 to now, the jury is hearing and the state is explaining, you know, shootings, murders between these two groups. And so the fact that he needs to get a mediator to speak with someone from that establishes there is an us and a them. And so whether he actually had this call or not, what exactly they want to talk about, it kind of has a non-hearsay purpose in terms of the fact that he's setting this up this way. He can't just call this person one-on-one or go meet them. That's the main purpose of it, or why the state wants to introduce it, Your Honor.
It seems that now that's, sorry, not being offered in such a way that it would even be hearsay. So it's admitted. I mean, alternatively, it could be a co-conspirator statement, but it does not appear to be hearsay to begin with. All right, what's next?
Next, Your Honor, is reference number 1767, PDF page 1789, which is a March 28th, 2022 call. The state believes that the other individual on the phone he goes by the nickname of Dad and is a 30 deep gang member. And what is discussed is Garlington tells, his name is Mr. Britty, tells Mr. Britty that he stayed in Cobb the night before because he ran into an op and didn't have anything on him. So it kind of gives context to wanting to get the blick. He specifically calls little Blizzy an op in this call. And again, it explains and gives clarity to how Garlington views Little Blizzy. And the state will hear when Detective Viverito is discussing this part of the case about this inflammatory social media that Little Blizzy posted, how YSL members viewed him, and why Garlington running into him is significant. Because if there's an us, there's a them, that is a key part of this. So the state will play this call now. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds, Your Honor. So the
Okay.
state will play it in entirety.
Hello?
Eddie, yo,
What's going on, bro?
what the hell going?
Pulling up in the hood?
Pull up in the hood.
Yeah.
And
Where you gotta
I
go?
go to. Oh shit, man. We just woke up.
You said you gotta go what today? You about to say you gotta go somewhere.
No, man, I ain't got down to the hotel in car last night, right?
Yeah.
I run to a op.
No.
I ain't got nothing on me. 'Cause I'm like, shit, but I'm finna go out here. I know I ain't right out here.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Go to the gym like
Yeah, buddy seen me, turned the head. You know,
he seen you and turned the head.
yeah. He don't even know he got me down bad.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, man. What they even do?
Yeah. Right here with Keelan and Mooch.
I'm probably
Stopped it at 1 minute and 5 seconds. There's only 5 seconds left, but it was that portion about Garlington speaking about what I just described, John, that the state wants to, is why the state wants to introduce it.
All right, that seems to fall essentially under the same things we've been talking about. I'll admit that as under the co-conspirator exception.
Your Honor, the next call is reference number.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
I want to ask the court that if I can have a continuing objection to these phone calls that reference something out in the world when Mr. Nichols is incarcerated. And again, I understand that we've kind of reserved that issue, but I don't want to go on to the next one without saying, hey, I've still got this objection out there.
Sure. And I mean, he doesn't get out again, right? I mean, he's
Okay.
not, so.
Unless you're going to let him out for, I'll take him to dinner tonight.
Okay, so, I understand that it's, that it covers all of these from the time he's
Thank you.
in until, I mean, who knows how many we're gonna have till now, I guess, if they come up with some other call, but, all right.
So, Your Honor, this next call, reference number 1869,
Mhm.
PDF page 1893.
Okay,
This is Demekion Garlington speaking with DeMarco Boyer.
okay,
I actually think that this call, the strongest reason for its admissibility is a non-hearsay purpose because they're discussing, we got to take Buddy's name off that. Because if that individual, they're talking about a song where someone's name's in it and they literally say, if he gets whacked, you know that stuff's going to come down on us. I don't need nobody trying to put a RICO on me. And then references putting their names in the song. And so a big thing of this, not the thing, but a aspect of this case from opening until present day is the state using social media, using lyrics, using just statements of co-conspirators. And, the state and defense have different theories of what those things mean. But the fact that they're conscious of what they say and put in a song in direct relation to something that can happen in the real world or in the streets, so to speak, is very relevant because the state's theory is that there is kind of a double entendre, or it's kind of like a line of how far can you push it in terms of street gang members know what you're talking about, but the police can't use it against you. And so with all that said, I wanted to play this part for really a non-hearsay purpose, whether they put that, I don't actually have the said song, but like whether they released that song or didn't put his name in, is the fact that they're consciously and by discussing that and thinking through that is important and is the state's mind's a non-hearsay purpose.
Yo. Hey. Yeah. I'm trying to shoot that red. They. It's a good day. Hey. But I ain't gonna lie, we got to talk. We got to take better name out of that shit though. We got to. Bro. You know, if bud fuck around and get wet, you know that shit come down on us. Yeah. Type shit. Then they already. The nigga young Bruce so hot on the east side right now too. It like I don't know if they trying to build a case against niggas or what. Like you feel me right now. But they hot as fuck. Like they jumping out, just laying nigga down about the nigga. That's why they was so hot up down the script the other day, got on Glenwood the other day. That's why I ain't been around nigga fast. So the last couple 2 days, so it's like, oh, I ain't need nobody trying to build no RICO on me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like yeah, like an estimate. So it's also shit like I'm just like thinking, Lil Head was even saying the same thing. He was like, shit, but I was gonna tell y'all nigga this shit, bro. That y'all probably say bro name, bro, cause his ass finna be gone. And even if y'all drop the song now, he get gone, gonna look like somebody had something to do with it. We drop the song later. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, you damn sure right. We just gonna take the nigga name like this shit. We just gonna take, I ain't even scared shit still fuck nigga, you feel me? Just some smart shit, cause I don't think them niggas will want to put a song out there without that. Well, at least we just switch it up. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And even if we say that, like, we don't be Leaky for D, get a Shell, say something different. Like, you feel me? Shell got that, Shell don't want that, or some shit. You know, I don't give a fuck. We say the same thing. I don't give a fuck about saying name. But I don't want to, you know what I mean? Tie shit in. Yeah, let's do it, didn't it? I know. I don't think you're good and shit in a minute. Okay.
And Your Honor, you heard they're talking when they say the line has something to do with Shell, and it's the state that they're talking about Shell Cal, who comes up repeatedly in this case, and is someone that YSL has been trying. You know, there's violence from January of 2015 until this call was made March 29th, 2022. And so Shell Cal's name comes up repeatedly throughout. And some of the social media I'd referenced about disrespect when individuals get murdered, Shell Cal's social media posts are a part of that will come up in Shamel Drinks. So that's why the state wanted to play this portion, is really for the non-hearsay purpose that they are thinking through, you know, they discuss the lyrics and how it can impact literally the police, because they're like, if he gets killed, it's going to come back on us. They're going to look at us. So we need to take his name out. So that's why the state wanted to introduce that.
Okay. Anything from the defense on this?
Well, if I am not mistaken, it's being offered for as non-hearsay. And if it's offered as non-hearsay, it's not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. And therefore there needs to be an instruction saying, you can't consider this conversation for the truth of the matter asserted.
So I am a little puzzled as to that issue.
And Your Honor, I guess I started with there's really two arguments, as sometimes there is, in terms of if they put this individual, you know, it's also a co-conspirator statement in terms of they're strategically trying to make sure that they don't get in trouble for releasing a song when they're trying to kill this individual. So the fact that he's like, you need to probably take his name out, that does move the ball forward in terms of the conspiracy, because the conspiracy does not want to get caught. Because if it does, it can't continue as well. And so there's that aspect of this as well, in terms of they're strategizing about, like, it's a good line, but it's too, you know, something when he gets murdered, or if he gets murdered, it's going to create a police involvement with us. And he's trying to get him to not release the public song with his name in it, with the purpose to further the conspiracy by not getting caught. So there is it's not an either or. Sometimes there can be multiple purposes or theories. And I think that's appropriate with this specific call.
Okay.
I think they're saying, let's not commit a crime. I mean,
I think they're saying, let's not provide easy evidence to inculpate ourselves. I'm gonna admit that under the co-conspirator exception. There's no crime in releasing a song, as y'all have all argued. What's our next statement?
Your Honor, the next statement is reference number 1974, PDF page 1999. And this call from March 30th. There's reference, so again, this call references Blizzy, who I've discussed with the court earlier. And it also references there's a reference to a street name of Haiti, which is a YFN member, Mr. Higgins, that is also connected with the killing of Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford. And so we're going to play this entire call. And on this call, Garlington also references, he says SB, talking about defendant Stillwell's cousin, who's a female, was followed by a black Durango. There is, the murder of Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford is not solved, but the black Durango, there's reference into it in a couple wiretaps because they believe that vehicle was involved and is associated with the rival gang. And also Garlington tells the other party again, he's mentioning running into little Blizzy. He didn't have the fire on him. And then he gives the address of where he was staying that night.
Yeah, then Corey called saying like, she trying to follow her, yo. You said what? Corey, maybe because she said I tried to follow her? Nah, hell nah. She saying like a nigga trying to follow her. She said a black car, but black truck. So I think she was trying to say the black. The black Durango. And see like the nails and shit like that. I like, especially like at the door, it was outside. The police like, is that for you? But she like, nah, she wasn't paying attention. So she get in the car. I mean, when she walked to the car, nigga, like, he tried to hit her. So yeah, she get in the car. Like, the nigga pulled in front of her because she had the bag up. She say the motherfucker followed her from the door. Like, she ran to a roadblock. She was back on the back street in Riverdale. She ran to a roadblock. They did a U-turn. Damn, that's a fool right there. That might be Buddy, though. She, Buddy used to try to be in her DM talking about, I'm going to find out where you stay at and shit. Yeah. Like, he tried to talk to her. It might be Buddy. Then they say, yeah, Durango. Hey, I don't know. Hey, you know who I just ran into, bro? In car, bro. I told you that shit the other day, bro. Who? Man, I ain't had no foul on. I just ran into the nigga Little Blizzard, bro. Oh, somebody just got that nigga on the street the other night. Bro. Yeah, what he was in? No, I don't know. I was in, boat checking in the hotel. Like, I was going upstairs with the hoe. He was checking in. I see the boy that's on DV, bro. That nigga turned his head so fast, bro. Damn, you think he still been playing out there? Yeah, I don't know. Damn. What hotel it was? We was somewhere in Cobb, bro. I gotta get the name of that shit. He told to the clerk like he know it. Like, man, damn, man, come on, fuck with me. Ain't Bay Money now? Nah, he ain't Bay Money. That mother called. Man, I don't. It's some old man. What street is on? Oh, I had that motherfucker. I got the address right here. That shit was called. $33.80 Overton Park Drive, Southwest. What is that? Overton Park. Overton Park, Southwest. Hold up. Southeast. The backside. I'm trying to put it in now. 33. Yeah, where another paper? When you gonna go play right there? They be meeting up at 3380. The one that called the police on your house last time, 3380. So you said 33 what? Hold on, 3380. Yeah. Overton. Park Drive. Overton. West Drive. I say OV. Park Drive. Overton Park Drive. Yeah, southeast 11. Yeah, right on the back side of Cumberland. I mean, Cumberland, Engine Park. Yeah. Or make the left. Or make the left. Come back now. Yeah, we got him. He might be playing right there because you know he's scared. He just got spent. Him and Hayden like two more little other niggas. Got spent there and ran on something. For real? Yeah, I didn't even know that. Yeah. We can kind of play that. Yeah. It got to go.
So your Honor, the black Durango was associated with the shooting at Waters Road on March 16th. I misspoke when saying the Ford McMiller double homicide. So, Deputy Hill, actually, it's connected with both the murder of Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford and the Waters Road shooting. So I wanted to clarify that. And also, Your Honor, there's a reference of getting the address where an op was the night before we got him. And so this discusses past events of running into a rival gang member at the hotel, but also references, be on the lookout for this black Durango, and also has references for future conspiracy activities of getting addresses of opposition gang members. The state does not know exactly who Mr. Garlington is speaking with, but a conspiracy can be furthered because Garlington gaining this information and discussing this still furthers the criminal street gang conspiracy. But I wanted to give all that information to the court.
All right, thank you. Any?
Borrow Mr. Harvey's term about nested hearsay. From my understanding, this call, and I'm going by the state's notes as well, this call has Garlington relaying what SB's cousin, that would be my client's cousin, said to him about being followed. That would be hearsay within hearsay. So I'd ask that anything involving what was said by my client's cousin be redacted.
This again has been put in writing in the state's brief. I wanted to find it, but in terms of co-conspirator statements, you do not have to search through time to, there is not a double hearsay exception or objection that if something is a co-conspirator statement in furtherance, the statement, the speaker making it, you don't have to determine if they have personal knowledge or not personal knowledge of it, because the statement itself is in furtherance of the conspiracy. And I will find the case law to back that up, but the state has briefed that issue in writing in the initial, and I'll find the date, kind of general co-conspirator brief. And
I'm not sure if I follow what you're trying to say right now.
I was distinguishing when Mr. Sharp was objecting to double
Yeah.
hearsay or nested hearsay.
Yes.
And I wanted to find the specific. So if the state gives me, not the state, Your Honor, if the court gives me a brief moment, I actually brought this motion with me and can't currently find it, but it's directly on point to this issue.
All right.
Well, there's a difference between personal knowledge and nested hearsay. So let's not go down the wrong track.
We can go down both, Mr. Harvey.
All right.
And find the right answer.
Let's stay focused on the issues at hand and not back and forth with each other.
Me and Mr. Harvey get along well, Your Honor. Let me see. Well, Your Honor, while we find that, for the sake of efficiency, can we? Well, I
So,
guess-
let me ask you this, which might make it not necessary. Are you offering that hearsay that's within this statement for its truth?
The
The part about the, I guess, girl saying that a Durango followed her,
it's the fact that
or that Mr. Stillwell's cousin says that whomever said that a Durango followed them.
Your Honor, it is for them discussing the black Durango because the state doesn't have any additional evidence that like that black Durango on this day and time was outside about to shoot someone. So it's the fact that they're discussing the vehicle that's connected with the murder and the Waters Road shooting, the fact that he's discussing in opposition terms Little Blizzy, and the fact that they are discussing whether they actually got the address and found the opposition member or not. The fact that they are discussing that is relevant in and of itself. And the state doesn't have, so the state is not intending to say, aha, 5 hours later, they went to someone's house and shot them. So it's the fact that they're discussing all of these things, which is really a non-hearsay purpose.
Okay, well,
To answer the court's question, Your Honor.
not sure to answer the question, but what I take from that is that your answer would be, no, we're not offering the nested part to establish that somebody actually followed her in a black Durango. Is that true?
Yeah, correct. We are
Okay,
not.
in which case that is not hearsay. And the rest of it comes in under the co-conspirator exception.
Well, whether the state's intent is to do that or not, it asserts a fact that is harmful for my client if believed. And I don't know how the jury is necessarily supposed to compartmentalize, oh, well, this is not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted. It seems to me that it would be, if it's not offered to prove that, I mean, this is important evidence if believed against my client, because it suggests that my client is responsible for Shamal drinks, and therefore other people are now following my client's family members. So it's not just a little deal in my mind.
Okay.
And so it seems to me that even if the argument is we're not offering it for the truth of the matter asserted, it would fail a 403 test, because what does it matter really that my clients, for the purpose that they're claiming, that they're discussing the goings-ons of the quote unquote opposition, what does it really matter other